Howdy, partners! Welcome to the Haunted Chronicles, episode 141. Last week's guest was Laureen Gomez, and if you missed that show, it's available on the on-demand section of ParamaniaRadio.com. Tonight's guest is Brandon Hurd, who is waiting patiently in the Haunted Chronicles green room and will join us shortly. Tonight's episode is sponsored by the Flowbee haircutting system. Tens of thousands have been sold to satisfied customers. Why? Because it really works. It's fast, easy, and clean. This ingenious device lets you give yourself, family, and friends perfect haircuts every time. That's Flowbee. I am Mr. Haunted, joined by Jennifer Jingle Bells Runyon and Brock Bells on Bobtail Ring Burrows. Fellas?
Hey, Jim.
Howdy.
I know what a jingle bell is, but I don't know what a bells on bobtail ring is, but that's what you are.
I'll show you later. I'll show you later.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
he'll love it. He'll love
Oh,
it.
my gosh, Brock, you have been... We miss you.
Yeah.
How are you? You've had quite adventures going on.
Yeah. I've been doing pretty well. We had last week. I tried to get ready, but we were at the ACC championship game, which we left here at like 8:00 in the morning Friday for an 8:00 at night game on Saturday, which made no sense to me. And we went right to the stadium, and we were in the stadium until 5:45, and then it was a good little drive back to the hotel, and then we had some other things to take care of, so I just couldn't make it. But
Yeah.
I'm done until the bowl game, which is the 29th of December. And I believe that's a Thursday. We'll be coming back that Friday, so I'll be there Friday too. So
Awesome.
it works out, and I'm happy to be back. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And it's always fun to be on here. So, how are you doing, Jennifer?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great. It's Christmas. I love this. I love trees. I love the sounds. I love the lights. So I'm kind of in a pretty happy mood right now.
And your tree looks better than my tree. So, yeah.
I have a little sickness. Okay, I've got Christmas sickness. It's bad. It's bad.
Well, it's always good.
You only have 2 trees, right?
Well,
2 trees? What?
3?
I have. I have like 4, but they're little. Like the other. Yeah. I was a little obsessed about this. I was putting them in the kitchen with all kitchen ornaments on. I'm crazy. But I didn't this year. This year I just went, no, less is more. You are just putting 2 up. So there you go. That's what's happening.
So how many big ones do you have?
Well, 1 is artificial, and then we go get a real tree.
So what's the total on that?
2.
44 shoes. 42 shoes, buckle my shoe.
I just wanted to get buckle my shoe in there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Jimmy, how are you doing?
Oh, I am so happy that I'm happier than the Bolivian spider monkey skipping wheat thins across a Wisconsin winter lake like he's freaking Charles Nelson Riley or something.
That's nice.
I like how you went from Charlie Manson to Charles Nelson Riley. That was good.
When I show you my scribble, you'll understand why.
Okay.
I still like. I think you're as nervous as a hummingbird, but we'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
That was good. Spider monkeys.
And before we go to celebrity birthdays, we have some breaking news.
Ooh.
Aviator, engineer, astronaut, and United States Senator John Glenn died on December 8th. In 1962, he became the first American to orbit the Earth, and he was 95 years old. And did you know he was married for 73 years?
Wow.
He was married in 43.
Wow.
And So we only got 50 more years to go.
Yeah.
And yeah. And when I was watching all the news stories on this, they started talking about other astronaut stories. And I had no idea about this Michael Collins fella. Am I alone on this one?
Well, share.
Do you know
Maybe.
what?
I
Well,
don't know. Refresh our memories because we
Okay.
probably do.
Apparently, I was not paying attention in school this day.
Uh-huh.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first two men to step on the moon, right?
Yeah.
While this fella, Michael Collins, he piloted the command module alone in lunar orbit while waiting for Armstrong and the other guy, Aldrin, while they were walking around on the moon. They were laughing and joking on the moon while this guy was just going around in circles like, you're driving a car at the mall waiting to pick up your kid.
Yeah.
While they're having fun.
Are you done yet?
And I'd never even heard of this guy.
No, I don't either.
Bless his little lunar heart.
Well, and he's alone.
He was all alone. Just
Ooh,
going in a circle.
I'm sorry. The moon is great, but being alone in space, I mean, ooh.
Do you think he was lactose intolerant and that's why he couldn't go to the moon because the moon's made out of cheese?
Ooh.
I don't know, but do you know that damn it, I ruined it. if a cow laughs, does the milk come out of her nose?
Actually, that's a true statement. It does.
It
It
does.
is.
I've never milked a cow. I want to milk a cow. I've never done it.
It's weird. We had to do it for 4-H one time, and it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think it'd be weird, but I want to do it. It's a bucket list thing. Literally. My bucket list is kind of pathetic.
I think our guest is going to leave. Sorry.
Oh my God. I just did a spit take. I just spit Coke all over. Okay.
Our guest tonight, he isn't promoting anything, but wants to share his story. And he welcomes requests on Facebook. So if you want to find him on Facebook, his name's Brandon Hurd, last name spelled Hurd. And Brandon has also agreed to play the birthday game with us.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You hanging in there?
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon.
The Haunted Chronicles. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Wait, we have a birthday game?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Usually.
See, you've been gone too long.
No.
Happy birthday, dear friend. We sing to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Kind of creeped out now.
Yeah. So, we usually do scary movie celebrity birthdays, but this week you'll notice a theme. I think all of these have one thing in common: they're pretty old. Okay.
Okay.
You've probably seen this. It's been all over the news, and I couldn't keep it a secret. And I wrote it down last week, and it's been all over the news. He started his acting career in 1946. He has 91 acting credits. Kirk Douglas. He was in the TV movie Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Spartacus, and The Devil's Disciple. Kirk Douglas. How old will Kirk be?
Brandon, you go first. You're our guest.
Let's see. How old would he be?
Yes.
He's really old.
I'm thinking in the late 70s, early
It's
80s.
really, Brandon, he's really old.
90s?
Yeah.
Better.
Really old.
All right, Brandon's guessed in the 90s.
Okay. I will go next. I'll say 100.
I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to round it out with 100.
He will be 100 years old.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding! Yay!
And how about this fella here? Bob Barker. He hosted the game show The Price is Right for 35 years, and he also appeared as himself in 1996's movie Happy Gilmore when he punched out Adam Pimp.
You know, The Price is Right is not the same without him. Now,
No.
Drew Carey does a pretty good job, but it's not the same.
And I like Drew Carey when he's a little chubby.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but have you seen? When you watched it back in the day when Bob Barker was in it, he would just look at those girls creepy. The models.
How about when they used to guess the exact price, and then they used to have to get the $100 bill from his pocket?
Yeah.
He used to point to his pocket, and they'd reach in.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead and reach in there, lady.
God. All right, Brandon, what do you think?
I'm going to say 97.
Ooh. Wow. I have no clue on this one. But you said really old, Jim.
Yeah, they're all really old.
Okay. I'll go 95.
I'm going to go 92, buckle my shoe.
We should guess everything ending in 2. He will be 93, but he is 92. Buckle my shoe today.
There you go.
I got a ding.
We got one more.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Van Dyke. Another one that's still alive and pretty old here. He's appeared in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Mary Poppins.
Say that again.
Because I'll screw it up. Mary Poppins, Bye Bye Birdie, and Night at the Museum.
Wow. All right. What do you
Play
think,
along
Brandon?
in the chat, fellas.
Well, Brandon, what do you think?
You said you said he started acting in 46.
No, this guy here. I don't know when he started acting, but he's pretty old. He's pretty old.
If I had to guess, I'd say around about 100.
Good.
Not far off.
Okay, I have no clue. We should know this because he's been in the news a lot. 98.
I'm going lower. 91. He's come undone.
He will be 91.
Oh.
Yes.
And next year he'll be. Next year he'll be
92.
Buckle
my shoe.
Oh.
Right.
And that does it for Scary Movie Celebrity Birthday.
Yay!
Thank you. Okay. Brandon,
Yeah.
how do we start? We're going to start when, Brandon, you're a small child. Do you have any experiences when you're a small child to do with the paranormal?
Actually, yes, I did. When I was 3 or so, most people call them imaginary friends, but this dude was just as real to me as, me touching a flesh and blood person. He played games with me and stuff, and he would sit in a rocking chair I had in my bedroom at night and watch me sleep. I'd never get an evil feeling or anything off of him. And, he just seemed like a nice, kind-hearted person. And one day he just up and disappeared. Haven't seen him since.
Oh.
But he wouldn't, I didn't get any evil vibes or anything like that off of him. So
Did he ever tell you his name?
once, his name was Jack.
Ooh.
And what do you look like?
If I had to guess, I'd say his height was about 5'4", 5'5", and he was dressed in, pretty much what dead people are buried in.
So, like full suit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you tell your parents when you were little? Did you talk about it to your parents?
Oh, I didn't. The only person that my grandma raised me, and my mom really didn't care about me or nothing. So my grandma raised me, but
Okay.
I told her, and she said something to the effect of, "If it's not bothering you or hurting you, just go along with it.
Oh wow.
But you did it not creep you out that he would just sit there in that rocking chair while you were sleeping, just sitting there watching? Now I know, it could have been a protective thing, but I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Were you scared, or did you feel like you were protected?
I honestly felt like I was protected. I mean, for the first couple of weeks after he showed up, yeah, I was creeped out. But after that, I got used to it.
Yeah.
He was your guardian angel.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how long did that last for?
Right about the time I turned 13 was the last time I saw him.
Oh my gosh, so that's a good 10 years.
Way more than 2.
Buckle my
Way
shoe.
more to buckle your shoe. That's a lot. Wow. So he just was he was really watching over you. My goodness.
Yeah, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I have no doubt in my mind he still pays visits every now and again.
Do you feel him?
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, a lot of people report when they have things like that happen, that there's something that's kind of left there for them that they know, okay, so and so's here. I know it happens a lot with family members that come back to visit people. Is there anything that's left there, like a feather, coins or something, or you just get the presence, the feeling that he's there?
The presence in the room gets kind of warm.
Oh, nice.
I sleep even during the winter. I'll sleep with my windows open and my air conditioning on, and sometimes it'll get really warm, not burning hot warm, but warm, and that's how I know he's been there.
Yeah, and that's where, to me, I would lean on the kind of guardian angel kind of thing, because and we don't know what really happens. The rumor is everything gets colder when there's a spirit nearby, but if it may be a comfort thing for you where you interpret it as warm, and that's interesting. That's kind of neat. I've not experienced that, and so it's interesting to hear someone who's been through that.
Yeah. Now, did you ever, did it ever, feel like maybe you could investigate a little bit and figure out if maybe you know who he was?
Honestly, I never did try.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid if I did, he'd disappear permanently.
Right. Yeah.
So I never did try.
Yeah.
Just left it alone.
That's cool. Yeah.
So you had the visitations from 3 to approximately 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then did anything happen between then and 2005? Or was it pretty quiet?
Well, it was kind of quiet, yeah.
All right, nothing major.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, now let's go to what happened in 2005?
Well, in 2005, my family, if you can call it that, and pardon my language, went through pure hell. My mom was on drugs, and she was fighting my grandma and grandpa and stuff. My grandma took her to court and got custody of me and my sister.
Aww.
And that was a year or two. That was like 3 or 4 years beforehand. And on June 19, 2005, my grandma died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
how old were you then? How old were you when your grandma passed?
17.
You were a kid, yeah. Oh.
And when she died, I blamed everybody. I blamed the funeral home people. I blamed the hospital. I blamed her doctors and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I started getting into black magic, Ouija boards, and everything. And the reason I did is I wanted to curse every one of them so they could feel the pain I felt.
Wow. Yeah.
And needless to say, it backfired on me. I mean, to be honest with you, my grandma's oncologist and her family doctor had stuff happen to them, but the majority of it backfired on me.
Wait, Brandon, what happened when you started using the Ouija board? Did you play with someone else, or did you do it by yourself? And what did it say when you?
By myself.
And what did it say when you played with it? And did it give you answers to what?
I asked it one time. I was like, because I'm trying to remember, because that brain surgery I had completely wiped out a lot of my long-term memory.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm remembering this right, I asked it if it could do something to cause harm to my grandma's oncologist, and it said yes, and then it started moving, and it spelled out, you will have harm come to you too, and I was like, okay.
Wow.
Like I said, I was just in the mood. I was so vengeful and so angry, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people kind of go through that, and it's very interesting to me that came back, saying that harm would come on you too, because I don't think a lot of people think about that whatever you kind of put out there comes back, and it's interesting. Like, we've talked many a times about people playing with stuff, and getting in trouble because they think a lot of times it's a game. But you've experienced it, and it's good because now you can tell people, hey, look, this is what I did, this is what happened. And it's amazing just to hear your story. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I ask you a question really quick, Brandon?
Yes.
Did you, thanks, honey. Did you find that when you started?
Okay, what was it?
You became like addicted to it? Did you need it?
Yeah,
Because I've heard stories of people that, you did?
Like as soon as I'd get out of school or something, I'd lock myself in my bedroom and mess around with that thing for hours on end.
And would you just have conversations with it? I mean...
Yep.
Oh, wow. I wonder where Jack was. I think Jack was there protecting you, by the way.
Like I said, I was just so mad, so vengeful that I wanted everybody involved in my grandma's care. And, I'm not a violent person. I don't have a violent bone in my body. But at the time, I wanted everybody involved in my grandma's care, including the funeral home, to suffer.
Well, yeah.
So, and this happened in 2005. And was it 2009 that you had brain surgery?
Yep.
So all this stuff happened for anyone that thinks that might have contributed to it. This happened all before the brain surgery.
He's going in and out on mine. Are you guys hearing him? Okay.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer, I think it's probably your internet a little bit, but yeah. And Jimmy, that's what I was getting ready to ask. Do you think, Brandon, that the stuff you went through, the surgery that you had to go through, was related to what you did with the Ouija board?
It's very possible, yeah.
And Brandon, tell us what happened during your surgery, please.
Well, it was only supposed to take about 7 hours. And it took a lot longer than that because I died 3 times on the table.
Oh, wow.
The last time I died, it took them 20 minutes to bring me back, and normally they quit, trying to bring you back after 10. And then, I was in ICU the next day. They didn't have a tube down my throat or anything. And the neurologist, my neurosurgeon, come in and talk to me. And he's like, how you doing? And I was like, and, they had me hooked up to a morphine PCA pump. So I don't know if any of y'all have ever had that or anything. But I looked at him straight in the face, and I told him exactly what they were doing in the operating room, exactly what medicines they were using, the dosages and everything else, and wherever everybody was. And his eyes got real big, and he's like, I'll be back. And he didn't come back till the day they discharged me.
Wow.
And
Now,
how did you see all that? How did you see all that?
It was the best way I can describe it's like I was floating above the table.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it.
And it's very interesting to me to talk to people who've had surgery around their head, because I had a little calcium deposit in my ear, probably about, I don't know, 7-10 years ago, and they had to go in and they put me under, and then they kind of cut it out and jerked it out. But when I woke up, I told the doctor, I remember everything that you all were saying, I could hear you all just fine. I could feel pressure. I couldn't feel pain. And I'm wondering that when they're around your brain that close, if your brain retains some of that. Now, it sounds like you had an out-of-body experience, but I wonder too if people who claim that they went to, saw the light, or did other things, if it's just the brain interpreting, and I know that doesn't apply to your case because you said you felt like you were floating above, but it's always interesting to me how strong the brain can be.
Like I said, I know that sounds crazy, but that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
Trust me, it doesn't sound crazy.
No, you don't sound crazy at all, by the way. Not at all. Wow.
I think it's just about our halftime break, if I'm not mistaken. I think it'll be a good time for a break.
It's 8:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So we're going to go to break, and we'll be back after these important messages and songs. Welcome back to the Haunted Chronicles, home of your guaranteed halftime shout out for people in chat. So thank you for coming. Barry, Brandon, Dr. Dave, Indy, Dwayne, Fellini, Brock, Paulie, Tony, Randy, Maggie Renee, Cheryl Carter, Desi, Nicholas, Kara E, Max, Kimberly, Victor, and Linda, who are going to be our guests next week. Listening in Utah, Debbie, and I have a few extra ones today. Rick, Valerie, Holly, and Heidi, Frankie B, Tiffany, and Junebug. So thanks for coming.
I can't wait till next week now.
And Brock, I don't know if you heard who's coming on the week after that.
No. Who?
Have you ever heard of a book or movie called The Amityville Horror?
No.
Well,
Never.
It's a very scary book and movie. And the youngest son that grew up in that house, formerly known as Chris Lutz, Chris Corantino, is going to be with us.
Nice.
23rd, which we're going to take off initially, but to get Chris on, we'll do it. Okay, we're talking to Brandon, and I think we're talking about the near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And Brandon.
Yeah.
What since you've been using the magic and the Ouija board, how has this affected you physically?
Well, I quit using it, but they say things come back on you.
Right.
And I've lived in this apartment now, I reckon around 8 years or so. And you name it, it's probably happened in here. I'd go spend the night at a friend's house or go stay at a friend's house a few days and come back in this place. And, I'd keep my place pretty clean, but I'd come back in this place that looked like Hurricane Katrina. My books would be scattered all over the place. My computer monitor would be sitting by the front door, all kinds of stuff. And I'm the only one besides the manager that's got a key, and I know she's not going to come in here and do that kind of crap.
And there's nothing missing, right?
No. Well, correction, I had a cross hung above my bedroom door that turned up missing, but other than that, no.
Ooh.
Did it ever come up?
Nope.
It's never resurfaced. Wow.
Nope, I had to go out and buy another one.
Wow, I did not know that one. And how about you physically? Have you been attacked physically?
Yes, I have.
What happened?
I've been. Okay, I've been punched, scratched, um, strangled, um,
Oh.
and the next one, I weigh almost 285 pounds. I'm a pretty big dude, and I have witnesses to this. I was picked up and thrown across my bedroom into a wall.
Ouch.
Yeah, and the hole that left that I had to pay for, but
Oh my gosh.
And,
um,
yeah, go ahead.
none of my friends will stay in this apartment. They won't even come in here anymore because I asked one of them one time, and they said something just does not feel right about this place.
Really? Okay. So it's other people feel it too.
Yeah, and I don't sleep at night. I don't. I only sleep during the day. I stay up all night if I'm in here. And normally I'm not in here. I'm out walking around, But since it's getting cold, that's options out the window.
Oh, honey, that's not good. So is this the most activity in this apartment that you're in that you felt? I mean, or is this always followed you, or is it more severe now where you are?
I'd say it's the most severe I've ever encountered, felt. Yeah. Um,
Have you ever been attacked? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
No, that's okay. No, I was just going to say, when you got thrown across the room, tell us that story. Who was with you and what happened?
well, I had my apartment switched around. I had my bedroom and my living room, where I'm sitting now, and I had my computer and everything else, and my bedroom. Me and a buddy of mine were sitting in there playing a video game, and his girlfriend and mine were watching us. And I stood up to go to the bathroom, and it just it it's just like something pushed me, and when it pushed me, it threw me straight into the wall. And after they made sure I was okay, they all left, and they still won't come back.
Wow.
When you were pushed, did it feel like hands or just a? Like, could you describe what it felt like to be pushed? Like, what kind of pressure it was, or what it felt like?
It felt like extreme pressure, kind of, and I've worked with hydraulics before. It felt like hands with hydraulic pressure behind it.
Oh wow.
Dear God.
Big push.
And I woke the next morning, and I had bruises on my chest in the shape of handprints, and those things didn't fade for probably 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, if you were thrown hard enough to make a hole in the wall, that's pretty hard. I don't care what size you are. I fell against my wall. I'm about your size now, and I haven't gone through the wall. So to be thrown to where you cause a place that you have to repair, holy crap!
Yeah, that's just insane. Now, when you got scratched and slashed, and was that in the same apartment?
Yep, I've lived here 8 years, and it's happened pretty much on a daily basis.
Oh my God!
There's one morning I woke up, and my sheets were wet, and I thought, and pardon me for saying this, I thought I'd wet the bed or something.
Right.
Well, I didn't bother looking at the sheets. I went in the bathroom and looked in the mirror, and I had 3 what looked like claw marks going from my left shoulder all the way down to my right hip. 3 real deep ones, and I turned around and looked at my bed sheets, and they were soaked in blood.
Oh wow!
And I'm afraid. Honestly, I'm afraid to tell anybody about this, especially any of the churches around here about this, because I do not want to get branded as crazy or a liar or anything else.
Right. Understood.
Yeah, but I will say that it seems like in this day and age, it's not as taboo as it was back then or back in the day. So I think there's a lot of people that have experiences, maybe not as severe as yours. I do think there's some people out there, but so I wouldn't be too worried about that. You need to, talking to someone helps the situation. You know, by all means, you can. I'm sure you could talk to any one of us, but it helps to get that off because I think if you hold it in, you're holding that in with some fear and some unknown, and that's just building it up.
So, Brandon, I just want to ask Jimmy and Brock a question about your situation because you guys, have dealt with this stuff more. Is this like a poltergeist? If it's moving all of his stuff around, is it demonic because it's scratching him and hurting him? What is this? What does it sound like?
And I've been bit.
Okay.
Oh my!
To me, hearing, and I've not dealt with a demonic case, and I know Jimmy has, so Jimmy could probably, clarify this for me. But to me, being that the activity that has went on, him being thrown across the room, bit, scratched, the 3 scratches. Normally, if it was just a few scratches here and there, I'd say it's probably more of a negative spirit. But being all the stuff that's going on, I would say that there is some, to me, right off the bat, I would say some demonic stuff. But I don't know. I've never dealt with that. So, Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, I'm not going to diagnose.
True. Because you can't, because you're not there. Yeah.
Actually, me and Brandon have been talking about this date for about a month now, and just today we talked about details and stuff. So we're already in the, just so everybody knows, we're not just getting a story and leaving him. We're actively finding him help as of tonight.
Good.
There's already an email sent out, and we're gonna find him help in his area.
Yeah. So you've never seen anybody? Like you've never seen anybody? You've never seen a spirit or?
Boy!
I've seen once. Once what was tormenting me.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
And that scared me so bad. Honest to God, it scared me so bad it sent me into a daggone seizure.
Oh.
I was shaving one night because I had a date, and I looked up, and I saw it in the mirror, and like a moron, I turned around, and I stand 6'2", 6'3" with my boots on, and this thing had to have been at least a foot and a half, 2 feet taller than I am, and it just didn't look right. It didn't look human at all. I mean, it had legs and what you call eyes, but that's about all I can describe about it. And the smell coming off of it was horrible.
Oh my God.
And the feeling you got from it was like, I don't know.
Brandon, what was the smell that you
It smelled like sulfur.
Yeah.
Sulfur and I've encountered this before, unfortunately. Sulfur and rotting flesh.
Ooh.
And the second one's a smell that once you smell it, you never forget it.
Any questions on that one, guys? Or you said it was like about maybe 7.5 feet tall. Did you see any facial features or the body type or anything?
Well, its eyes were like almost jet black, like a dark red, almost jet black.
Did you say kind of red and black?
No, its eyes were dark red, almost jet black, almost black.
Okay.
This last week we had that similar story.
Yeah.
It had kind of long arms, real, and I'm trying to remember because, like I said, as soon as I saw it, I call seizures flipping out. But
you saw it in the mirror, and then you turned around and you saw it physically also, right?
Oh.
I should have never turned around.
Oh man.
Mm-mm.
So
That's
you also
crazy
told me
stuff.
a story about, if you know what I'm talking about, that someone saw you and then they felt something was odd, and then you talked to them the next day about what they
Yeah,
saw.
yeah.
Can you tell us that story?
I was talking to a friend of mine, and he started. Well, she actually started getting really freaked out, really weird. She's like, "I gotta go," and I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "I just gotta go." I called up with her the next day, and I asked her. I was like, "What was wrong?" And I could tell she was afraid of me for some reason. And me and her had been best friends for about 16 years. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Brandon, I was talking to you, but it wasn't your face I was talking to."
Oh whoa.
So I asked her, I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "It just wasn't your face."
Hmm.
I was like, "Okay." So
And Brandon, how do you sleep? Do you have
how
any
do
trouble sleeping?
during the day, not so much, but I usually always wake up before it starts getting dark, and I'm up all night.
Oh honey.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I'd be sleeping either.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either.
Do you hear any voices?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too, yeah.
Sometimes I do, and I hear skittering in the walls and stuff like that. My landlord has hired 2 exterminators to come in here, and check and see if I've got mice and stuff like that in the walls. And they said no. My electronics have, since all this has been going on, have been screwed up and messing up and stuff. And she's hired electricians to come in, and there's nothing wrong with the electricity in here, so.
Any knockings or bangings or anything like that?
My bathroom door will open and close on its own. So will the door leading from my bedroom into the living room.
And has anyone else been affected that comes to visit you at all, or is it focused on you?
Not to my knowledge, no. But then again, like I said, my friends won't come here, and they won't talk about it. So
Wow.
Yeah, that's
I asked in the
man.
chat if we have any questions.
So I'm curious if it's with the place or if it's with him. Has these kind of activities happened in other places or just while you've been living at this one place?
it's happened in other places, but it's really intensified since I moved in here.
Yeah, that's interesting because if it follows, then it's usually attached to the person, but it could be something there also that's allowing it to intensify. Maybe some
Yeah,
other
another spirit or something, whatever,
yeah
right? Yeah.
or some type of energy. Yeah,
So has anything ever happened to anyone else when they've been over?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not sure she'd want me to tell you or not, but
Well, don't say your name. Yeah, don't say your name.
girl I was dating once was taking a shower, and she could have swore that I was standing outside the curtain watching her,
Ugh.
and she opened it, and she didn't see nothing, and she got scratched, and she started flipping out and screaming and stuff. I was in here playing video games, and well, she finished her shower, got dressed, and left. And I mean, she was still bleeding when she left too. So, like I said, I've had friends over. They'll come in here, maybe spend 15 minutes, and they'll leave, and they say they're not coming back. They say if I want to visit, come visit them.
We have I don't. If you want to keep this private, that's fine, Brandon. But we have a question from the chat. could you tell us, or if you don't want to, that's fine. What caused your brain surgery, or why were you having the brain surgery?
I had a birth defect called Arnold-Chiari malformation.
And what is that?
It's basically, you know, the hole in the back of your skull where your spinal column connects to your brain?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My brain was herniating out that hole and growing down my spine.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So they had to remove that little bit of brain tissue and a decent-sized piece of bone in the back of my head. I mean, you can't tell, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you when you are able to sleep, do you have any like bad nightmares or reoccurring dreams about anything?
The only reoccurring nightmare I have is, and you know, I've told people about this, is, you know, I'm standing in a circle in a dark room. You know, the only thing that's illuminated is me. And, you know, flames will start. They'll start around my feet, go up my legs, up my chest, and then, you know, my head until I'm standing there completely on fire. I can't scream, can't move, can't do anything. And, you know, when I finally snap out of it and wake up, my skin's red hot to the touch.
Wow.
Wow.
So when you see or hear of people using Ouija boards, do you think the negativity all started with that? I mean, if you had a message for anybody, what would it be?
Don't do it. And if you're
Yeah.
doing it, stop, because you may think it's fun playing with it, but if you open a door like that, you have no idea what you're letting through.
Yeah.
So,
You've got a story. I mean, this is amazing. I feel so bad for you. I want you to be able to sleep at night and have some peace, because you've been through so much. You know, you deserve that.
honestly, I think my biggest mistake was challenging whatever was in here. I'd finally got mad and lost it one night and challenged whatever was in here. So,
And then it became worse after that. Yeah.
Brandon, thank you. Thank you for being very brave and telling your story. An hour already flew by. We're going to try to find you help. So thanks for coming on with us.
no problem.
And good night, listeners. Good night, Jen, Brock. Thanks, Dr. Dave. Good night,
Yeah.
Brandon.
Good night,
Good
Brandon.
night. Good
Night.
night.